Tash McAdam. I'm a young adult author living in Vancouver on the unceded Coast Salish territories. I write mostly young adult, almost exclusively science fiction, except for my recent book, Bloodsport, which was a contemporary. You can check me out on my website, tashmcadam.com, or social media at Tash McAdam. See, that's always an interesting one for me because I constantly claim that I don't actually love writing, I just love telling stories, and the most effective way to share stories with people is writing them down. I consider myself a storyteller, a story maker, and a writer kind of secondary to that. But I've been writing since I was really little. I wrote my first novel when I was 8. It was bad, really, really bad. Usually I write the story that's in my head and then try and sell it to people, but Orca approached me and asked if I'd be interested in writing for them, and so I had to put together a few pitches. I went in my ideas folder and ended up taking ideas that I'd had at various points. I wanted a kid that goes undercover in a motorcycle gang, a trans kid starting to box because I'm really interested in that like hyper-masculine world and trying to step into that as a trans person, and I had another one that was a murder mystery with a kid trying to solve his sister's murder, and I kind of mushed them all together and came up with a sort of short, snappy story that ended up being Bloodsport. I brought is John Wyndham's The Chrysalids, which is a classic sci-fi about telepathic children in a sort of farming society where any deviation is seen as the work of the devil. It's like a very religious society. It was a hugely formative book for me and definitely sparked my interest in the Psionics, which is my sci-fi series. The second book I brought is Tamora Pierce's The Woman Who Rides Like a Man. The whole series is about a young girl who dresses up, has her own twin brother because she doesn't want to go to like magic nun school. She wants to go to magic knight school. The reason that I bought this book and that it's so important to me is because it was the first book that I ever found that had queer content. Even though she's not actually really queer, it's kind of queer. She's kind of like gender non-conforming. Just keep writing all of the time. Write about everything. Write about things that you're passionate about. Write stories for your friends. One of the things they don't tell you is that writing, like everything else, is a skill, and your first things won't be that good. It doesn't really matter how old you are or how much you've written before. Your first novel is probably going to be a bit of a mess the first time you write it, because you're not used to thinking in the way that you need to write a novel, and your writing style will develop over time as well. The more you write, the better you'll be. It's really important not to write something and think, oh, this isn't very good, and give up. Because you've got to practice, you've got to train. Write what you want to write, like don't worry about your audience. You'll never finish something if you're only writing it for other people. It has to be something that you're passionate about. I wouldn't be the writer that I was today if I didn't have friends making up stories with me about characters that we wanted to, take on adventures and explore. It's really about putting in the time and just keep chugging away. Reading makes you a better writer. It teaches you what you love in stories. The more you read and kind of engage with what you're enjoying and what you're not enjoying for various reasons, the more you'll hone in on what your skills and passions are and what makes you feel like your writing is powerful. Writing helps you process emotions and work through feelings. And in times like this, we all have a lot of feelings. There's a lot going on in the world. There are so many different kinds of apocalyptic things happening right now. There are so many things that make us sad and angry and frustrated, and writing's an outlet. It's a place to put those emotions and work through them a little bit. It's self-therapy.